Hey Zion Youth, I want to welcome you to our first ever God Thought video. I just want to chat with you about some things that God has been teaching me and about some things that God has been speaking to me. I was chatting with God this week and He reminded me of a story in the Bible, and that story is Moses and the burning bush. This story is found in Exodus 3, so I challenge you to check that out this week and give it a read. How this story starts is that Moses is wandering through the wilderness, and then all of a sudden God gets Moses' attention with a burning bush. So Moses goes and checks it out. He is curious why there is a burning bush in the middle of nowhere. And then all of a sudden this bush starts to communicate with him, and it actually says his name twice. It says Moses, Moses. And then all of a sudden God communicates to Moses through that burning bush. And what God does is that He reveals Himself and He reminds Moses of His promises. God continues to communicate with Moses by revealing His plan to free the Israelites out of Egypt after 400 years of slavery. And then God lets Moses know that God is choosing Moses to live out this mission, to complete this mission to free the Israelites out of Egypt. Moses, being so surprised, asks God, "Who am I to go and ask Pharaoh to let the Israelites leave out of Egypt?" And then God reminds him once more of His character, and He says, "Moses, I will be with you." As God reminded me of this Bible story this week, He also reminded me of truths that I can hold on to in this season. The first truth being that God is speaking to you and He is speaking to me. We need to be people that are paying attention to what God is saying to us. When God speaks to us, He reminds you of who you are. He reminds you of who He is, and He reminds you of His promises that He will always keep. The second truth that God is communicating to me is that He chooses you to live out His missions. Just like He chose Moses to deliver the Israelites out of Egypt, God chooses you to deliver grace, love, and hope to the people around you. The third truth that God is communicating to me is you are not alone. That the words that He spoke to Moses still ring true in our lives today. That God speaks to you and says, "I will be with you." Remember in this season that God is speaking to you, that He wants to talk with His children. And although we are stuck at homes, God is still sending you to love people, to bring hope to people, and bring the good news of the gospel to others. And lastly, wherever you are, God is with you. You are not alone.